Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast episode will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, please do not continue to watch or listen until you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. Today we are covering Pet Sematary Bloodlines. But before we go and do the review, let's grab our cups and talk about tea. So, I am drinking the Republic of Tea Comfort and Joy tea, even though we're a little bit past the Christmas holiday. It's got black tea, cinnamon, cloves, licorice root, and apple bits.
And I am drinking Plum Deluxe Comfort Blend Black Tea. It's got black tea, cinnamon chips, orange peel, ginger, clove, and orange extract. Comfort in a cup.
Yeah, so we both got different comfort teas
from
different brands. But they're both so good.
Yes.
So good.
We needed it for this movie.
Yes. So thank you to Plum Deluxe and the Republic of Tea for allowing us to continue to do what we love. And for our tea sippers out there, brew yourself a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy the review. So the summary: Timmy gets pet cemeteried and becomes evil. The dog gets killed by Timmy and then gets pet cemeteried and goes evil. And evil! Oh, and you find out about some of the evil settlers. The origins of the town. You know. Anyways, so for entertainment, because that was a solid summary.
We have two more of these today.
Well, this is one of two, to be fair. Rather than like... Okay, anyways. So for entertainment, this movie... During the entire movie, I didn't know how to feel about it. Because... Stop looking at me like that.
I am concerned because I see nothing written for this one either.
None of them have writing. You will not see anything. But anyways.
So many concerns.
Like, I will, like... The Pet Sematary movies never really, like, creep me out. It was more, like, tragic, where it's, like, you really feel the loss and sorrow, and they're so desperate to have their family pet back or their loved one back that they
Even
go
for
through,
a day.
They go through these lengths to try and get them back, and how it's got, like, terrible consequences. So it's like, I feel like that's the horror element of Pet Sematary rather than it actually being scary. And I feel like this movie loses that. So, you know, on the one hand, you have Timmy's father who brought Timmy back, but it happens in the very beginning of the movie. And so it's more like the main character is figuring out what happened to Timmy and that he's actually not right. So that already right then and there kind of like changes the mood of the movie a bit compared to like the original Pet Sematary. It kind of like loses the tragic part of it.
It loses the whole vibe.
Yeah. And so they try and lean a little bit more into the creep factor or like how dangerous they are. And I will say the scene where Donna in the hospital is coming after Norma, like that was really well done. And definitely I felt the tension and the lack of safety in that scene. But like besides that, like Timmy and like the dog, like... Yeah, they were obviously dangerous, but I never felt like the tension of them like being around and being out and about. Like I was just kind of like, okay, like who are they going to kill type of thing.
It was more of a serial killer vibe at that point.
Yes. Yeah, that's really what it felt like. Like is either like a serial killer or like a curse on the town until they figure out like who it is or whatever.
It felt almost like a Friday the 13th kind of situation, or Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah. And like as far as the characters themselves go, I like the. I don't know. I very highly doubt that Stephen King wrote this sequel at all. Like I'm pretty sure it's like someone separate that like made this movie.
It felt a bit fan fiction-y.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, yeah, it gave a background on like the main three characters, but it didn't really. It felt like more like a passing thought,
Yeah,
than like an actual connection. So you're just like, oh yeah, they know these people, but you didn't feel like they had this like these decades of like being friends or whatever.
you didn't feel the close bond.
Right. Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's the acting or if it was the storytelling or probably both.
I think it was both.
There's just no chemistry there.
Leaning heavily on the story, but definitely both.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, this movie was interesting. Like, it definitely did keep my attention. And I like kind of the origins of the town that they told. Because that's one thing that left me wanting in the original Pet Sematary is like I would love to like know the origins of how it came about and like how it became like a traditional thing that like a lot of the townspeople kind of like vaguely knew about or so it kind of like filled in some of those gaps. But at the same time, like the meat of the movie was just very so-so. Like, I'm glad that I watched it, but I don't feel like... Well, am I even glad that I watched it, though? I'm neutral to, like, slightly, like, I didn't have to watch it. Like, it's a decent movie. It's not like it's a bad movie, but I guess
it definitely had better effects than the original Pet
it did
Sematary
have really
movie.
good. It did have really good effects. Mm-hmm. Like it's a well-produced, well-made movie, but as far as like a storyline, it's just kind of falls into the background. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like so me tearing apart this movie isn't the fact that it's a bad movie. It's just compared to other movies out there, it really falls through the cracks for me. It doesn't really stick out. It's like if I want to watch a Pet Sematary movie, I'm going to watch the original.
Yes.
Even the reboot.
No.
Oh, I'm saying over this one.
No.
No.
No. The reboot can go die in a corner.
Okay, well, the original one.
The original one, yes.
But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this in realism, but the capabilities of the undead seem kind of varied and inconsistent.
Yes.
Where it's like, first they're like, their bones are breaky and creaky and cracky, but then they have like superhuman strength. And just because you're undead, it's like, where does this super strength come from? Like, they don't really establish it. It's like they say, okay, the ground is evil or whatever, but
they also know your deepest secrets.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like overall, I could give or take this movie. It's just, I probably will be completely fine not watching it again. And I'd say you could probably skip this. If you're just somewhat interested, you can skip it.
Are you going to give it an actual rating?
Oh, crap. I'm going to give it... I'm going to give it a 6.5.
I give it a 5.5.
Ooh.
It's very much a meh movie for me. Like, it's all right, but it's unnecessary. And if you're going to make another movie in the same universe, have the same kind of rules.
Yeah.
They were so inconsistent with it and so varied, and it just didn't make that much sense. So there are just too many questions I have, and it's too disjointed. You don't really care as much about the main characters. There's no reason for us to really care about the main characters. You don't really feel the bonds between him and his supposed best friends that he grew up with. So
honestly, the Manny and Donna like dynamic I believe the most.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like they were some of the best actors of the movie.
Yeah.
So a lot of it just fell short for me. And it's one that I could have on in the background, but there are so many other movies that I'd rather have on, even in the background, that it's just kind of eh.
Yeah.
It's just a very thorough meh.
It's an all caps meh.
Yes. Well, not even that. It's just meh.
It's not even all caps.
No, just
All lower.
all lower caps. Not even italicized. Just nothing special about this movie at all. Also took off points because the dog died. So, because he got it. But yeah, if you're going to change the lore that much and change the rules for the big bad and everything, then call it something else. Like, it could easily have been something entirely separate. You didn't even need to bring Pet Sematary into it.
Yeah.
It barely played a role.
Yeah. Honestly, I had the same thought too.
Yeah.
Like, it being Pet Sematary makes it even more meh. But, I mean, to be fair, even if it wasn't Pet Sematary and it was its own thing, it'd still be
eh.
Yeah. Just slightly less meh. Because it's not trying to tack on to already.
It's like it's riding on to the coattails. And again, can we please get some original content?
Please.
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 It would be nice. It'd be very nice.
Or at least,
appreciate
like,
it.
or a new twist on, like older mythos or lore.
Be a little more creative with it.
Like, there's so many, like, monsters in our history and our lore. It's like, it'd be really cool to bring some of those back.
Yes.
I mean, some of them don't need to because they're a little too silly. No. But there's a few. Or, like, could you imagine if we did a modern day horror, like, Sirens movie? Mm-hmm. Like, you could make it so creepy if you wanted to.
I've seen more original content on creepypasta than I've seen in movies lately.
Yeah. I feel like Hollywood is scared to take risks.
They are.
It's like Pet Sematary, it already, it's successful.
People recognize the name.
Yeah. Or like The Exorcist.
Yes.
Yeah.
People recognize the name.
Yeah.
Evil Dead.
Yeah. Evil Dead Rise, looking at you. Could have been your own movie.
Really could have been.
But that one's a good one.
Didn't even have the Necronomicon.
Yep.
It was a completely different book. Anyway. So, yeah, this is a thoroughly just middle of the road, kind of slightly better than just vague nothingness. But it's one you could definitely skip. There are better movies out there.
It's always realism. It's always a struggle.
I didn't want to touch that for this one.
Oh.
There's so much you have to put aside.
There's so much.
So much for this one you have to put aside.
Like, the most major thing is the fact that the people and animals that were pet cemeteried are just so inconsistent. It's like, if your bones are all cracky and crickety and like breaky, then how come you have all the strength to be able to like throw things or attack people or do all of this stuff? Like, it doesn't, like, I understand you're like, oh, gonna make them all like crickety and stuff because they're dead, but like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I can't think of a better way that they could have done it. I guess like they could just show like the rotting flesh. Like they just like hit you in the head like, oh, they're dead, when they could have like maybe had like the shuffling, because I know the Grudge have done that and that's really effective, where you just hear the feet just shuffling, and then
every day I'm shuffling.
And then show the fact that they're undead by like the rotting flesh and stuff. The one with the foot. Ooh, I was screaming. I was like, that's not okay. Don't show that. But
which one?
With Donna, Norma was like trying to help Donna, and the flesh on her foot fell off.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's how in this movie was to me. I just what?
I only remember because it really, I was just like, oh no, don't do that. But it's like, I guess the characters are realistic. Like they're just. I mean, I feel like they're maybe a little bit more well fleshed out than like typical horror movies where they're just like, here's this character. I don't know. It's like, but barely.
You gotta rate it. Oh, I know it's hard, but you gotta rate it.
And see, this took place, I think it's like 1969 or
it's
something.
It's in the 60s. It's during the Vietnam War.
So then, like, bringing up to like, you know, the Timmy being in the military,
mm-hmm.
and unfortunately dying in the military, and then Judd and Norma wanting to, is like the Peace Corps or something that they're like wanting to, and then the dynamic with him and his father, like I feel like that's pretty like realistic. And then fall. 3. Well, and then the whole like Manny like not wanting his sister to be shot. But the thing that was pissing me off though is like, yeah, if she's not hurting anyone and he's like, don't shoot her or don't kill her, then fine. But she was actively trying to kill Manny while Manny was like, no, don't kill her. It's like, what? But it's like, it's either you or her. Either she's gonna kill you and then go kill someone else who's gonna probably try and kill her, or you just kill her and then you and no one else gets hurt. It's just so I feel like that was a little bit frustrating. I feel like he's a little bit too like, that's my sister. You know,
bit of a sister complex.
Yeah. I'm going to do this a 2.5. I'm just going to commit 2.5.
I'm going to give it a 1. Because the whole movie would not have gone this far at all. Realistically, even putting aside that ground, if you bury someone, they come back wrong. Because in that small of a town, anyone that comes back, dead or alive, people would know. And especially dead, with honors, like he was given honors, and they sent his body home. That's a lot of arrangements that need to be made.
That's very true. So they would know that he was dead.
And in a small town, people have nothing to do but talk and snoop. Everybody's in everybody's business. So, people would know that, yes, Timmy came home, but Timmy came home dead. So if Timmy was then seen walking around
People would know.
There's a problem there. And those in the know would be like, excuse you. Sometimes dead is better. And there wasn't enough of that, I feel like, in the movie. Like, that was a big point of the original, is sometimes dead is better. If you bring them back, they come back wrong. And he did come back wrong, but they tried to play it off as, is he just traumatized from what he saw in the war? Or is it...
Well, and they barely played it off because right in the beginning they show the dad, like, burying him.
Yeah.
And then him, like, hurting the dog.
I know. But towards the other characters. Like, the other characters are wondering, is this just trauma from the war?
Yeah.
Or is there something not right?
I mean, he definitely had some sort of trauma from the war.
Oh, yeah. But well, we assume he did. We don't know that it was really him that came back.
That's fair.
Again, very vague on how it works.
Yeah, I wish that they would expand on, like, saying if it's actually the person, their soul's warped, or if it's, like, they're almost, like, possessed.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And it's just someone acting, like a malevolent spirit acting like your lost loved one. There are so many things wrong with this movie. So many things. That's the biggest to me. But also the way they move, they're inconsistent with everything. And you changed the lore. Why do you have to take out their eye for them to be dead again? That makes no sense. Why the eye specifically?
Maybe because it's harder to get at. I don't know.
I know they say it's the window to the soul or whatever, but if they come back basically soulless... what's the point?
That's fair.
At that point, you could use the same kind of stupid logic of, oh, the evil place whispers to those that it thinks it can get to and get to use it. So take out their voice and they'll be done. It's the same stupid logic. That makes no sense. You send the dead back to death. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's how the original did it. And if you were trying to stay in the same universe, then stick with the dang rules. I demand consistency, damn it. There was too much. There was no... and I know it was the 60s, so things might have been different then, but if a dog bites someone, there should be a report, at least.
Yeah.
He also didn't need to bury the dog in the bad area. He really didn't need to bring the dog back. There was no reason to. None whatsoever. Just asking for more trouble. So, and with how walled off this place was and everything, if people would just stop talking about it and they don't know what that area is and what it could do, then no one would use it. At least that's how it should work, right? Also, they changed the rules again because unless Timmy dragged Donna's corpse across the town and buried her in the place as well, why did she come back?
Yeah, it very much felt like almost zombie-ish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah.
And he killed others too, and they didn't come back, so why her specifically?
Oh, no. You wanted a minion, I guess.
I don't know, it just seemed very convenient for the plot and everything, and for the swoops, which weren't even really all that spoopy. You could skip this one. We deserved better. If you're going to make a movie like this, we deserved better.
We're not angry, we're just disappointed.
Speak for yourself. I'm angry. I'm angry and disappointed.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Y'all did this series dirty. Do better.
Well, with that being said, I agree. This one is definitely skippable. But thank you for joining us today, and let us know what you thought of the movie. If you'd like to recommend a movie, game, or tea, you can leave us a comment or join our Discord server. And if you'd like to keep up to date with our content, you can find our link tree listed below.
If you'd like to support us monetarily, we have a Teespring and a PayPal donate button, or we have our affiliate link with both Plum Deluxe and Republic of Tea available. It does not affect the price on the tea on either site. It just allows us to continue to do what we love. And you can find all of the sites mentioned linked below. But until next time, guys, stay safe and stay spoopy.
Bye!